While the sales of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle haven't been record-breaking, and I largely blame Game Pass for that, Disney does appear to be interested in pursuing the game franchise with more adventures. But what makes me sad is how many people aren't buying, playing, or even interested in this amazing game. I've got a pretty good idea why, and I'm going to give you 5 reasons, in fact, but today I'm going to debunk each and every one of them. Stick around.
Let's go into the bungalow world.
Number 1, because Indiana Jones sucks now. Let's be honest. Indiana Jones had 3 amazing movies, one that people thought really sucked, well, until the latest film came out, which makes Crystal Skull look like Temple of Doom. Not the favorite, but still worth watching, and it's part of the canon. But you're right, nothing is more sad than to see our archaeologist fall outside his prime and into the hands of filmmakers with an agenda. I have good news for you. This game isn't something new. In fact, it takes place between Raiders of the Lost Ark and Temple of Doom. That's 100% USDA prime choice Indiana Jones right there. He's young, brilliant, and full of life. You know, like you remember him. This game is a clear love letter to both Indiana Jones's heyday along with the recreation of a different era of filmmaking. And it's glorious. If you thought you were getting the diarrhea of dysentery Jones for this game, I'm very pleased to say you were wrong. This is the Indiana Jones you've always wanted to play. Number 2, there's a girl boss in it. I had to wait until I finished the game in its entirety before I could respond to this claim because we all know how Disney likes to bait and switch us with a few good episodes of a TV show only to, well, do what they do to it after you're invested. There is no girl power here. There is no forced girl boss here. Gina is not the hero of this story. Yes, she is there a lot, but you never have to play her in the game, and many of your adventures will leave her behind. There's one line in the entire game that I heard, and it sounded pretty wrong and out of place, honestly, where they tried the whole, a woman doesn't need saving by a man. So 3 seconds of a 30-plus hour game, they tried to sneak it in, and even Indiana Jones wasn't having it. In fact, Indiana Jones largely treats her with what might now be considered disrespect. While I saw no misogyny in there, someone probably would take offense to it. Indiana Jones is an aggressive alpha male 98% of the time in this game, which in my book aligns with all 3 classic movies. Yes, Gina helps solve a puzzle or two. Yes, her voice can be annoying from time to time, but a girl boss? She is not. Number 3, Disney DEI must be everywhere. Look, I'm a left-leaning moderate, okay? But I don't believe everyone has to be represented at every turn of the wheel, especially if you're working with an established IP. Don't dick around with canon for inclusivity's sake, which oddly ends up being more like exclusivity, and Disney has proven themselves rich with the need to subject their IPs to DEI. Now, believing that Disney could possibly leave alone a big IP like Indy would be a losing proposition in this day and age, especially after the last movie. Believe it or not, DEI is practically non-existent here. Beloved characters aren't gender swapped or race swapped. Sexual orientation is actually almost totally ignored, other than, you know, Gina and Indy like each other. Nice, safe, cis heterosexuality here. Because you trust me, I will tell you there's one alluding to a lesbian relationship in the game. It is between minor characters, it's a memory, and it is never shown on the screen. In fact, you could miss it if you were not paying attention. Much like the single girl boss line mentioned earlier, this is minuscule and pretty harmless. Was it needed? Not really. It didn't really contribute to the story all that much, but it didn't take it over and jam it down your throat either. By the way, I sat through all 30-plus minutes of the credits looking for DEI representation like Sweet Baby Inc. or others. Did you know there's only one mention of DEI in the credits under the Disney umbrella, and it's consisted of a single person, Queen Danuchu Wu. I'm sure I'm going to say that wrong. But if I had to take a guess, this is the one person responsible for both the girl boss line and the perceived lesbian relationship. One voice in a pool of thousands, and it was reflected in the game. If this is what's stopping you from buying and playing, shouldn't be. Number 4, first-person games suck. Traditionally, this IP's games have been all third-person. A lot of people take umbrage with this game being largely first-person, but I'm hoping to convince you otherwise. There are 2 modes to this game. One is playing Indiana Jones, and the other is watching an indie movie unfold in front of you. The choice to move Indy first-person was, in my opinion, a good move. With any third-person game, you're not really being that character. You're controlling their avatar in the world. Bethesda wanted you to feel like you were Indiana Jones, something that doesn't really feel right in third person. Look, I love both perspectives, they serve different purposes. To pull off the cinematic ways of Indiana Jones, they do cut to third person. Often this is to ensure the quality of controls, like swinging from the whip, but mostly it's to give the game that movie quality from the franchise that frankly just doesn't exist anymore. They worked hard to ensure what makes an indie movie feel like an indie movie is represented in the camera work, angles, music, and overall presentation. Is there an adjustment period? Sure, but not for too long. It will seem totally natural, especially as you have to do things more active after leaving Vatican City. Number 5, you don't know or care about Indiana Jones. I totally understand not liking an IP and it's stopping you from wanting to buy the game, but I want to address that with my own experiences over the last 2 years. I really dislike several franchises, including Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. I'm also no fan of Baldur's Gate or turn-based combat. You're probably seeing where I'm headed here with this. I took a chance on Hogwarts Legacy, and it was my game of the year for 2023. It was summarily kicked off the pedestal by Baldur's Gate 3, with its D&D, rich history and characters, another game that wasn't even on my radar. In 2024, a little survival game, Lord of the Rings Return to Moria hit. No interest because of the IP, but it came highly recommended based on other games I liked, and I took it for a spin. Until The Great Circle came out, Moria was slated to be my game of the year for 2024. Sometimes great games come with skins we aren't initially attracted to, but a great game is usually a great game regardless. Since my involvement with these other games, I've learned not to dismiss games outright based on their IP. This game is both a sequel and a standalone story. You don't even have to have seen anything other than Raiders of the Lost Ark to get the handful of references in the game. It is truly standalone story with characters that simply could be archaeologist number 1 or college assistant number 2. It would still be a fantastic game. Yes, being able to play your hero and not just shoving his avatar around on the screen, but being in that first-person perspective can be magical. Indiana Jones is one of Gen X's biggest heroes. If you're a boomer or Gen Z, you don't need to have a love for Indiana to appreciate a game filled with adventure, puzzles, fantastic ancient relics, or even a love of fedoras. Just the love of a neat story and fun characters is all that is required for admission. Don't sleep on this game because you don't know Jones or the movies. A great game is still a great game. Well, that's it. I've given away copies of this game as gifts for Christmas, hoping to boost sales. I've talked about it in my podcast, and now I've promoted it on my YouTube channel. I've done all I can. Now it's up to all of you to miss out on this fun adventure or pick it up and spend a remarkable 30+ hours in great locations with great mysteries to solve. I hope you enjoyed this debunking look at the game. If you want a proper review, leave a comment down below. While you're there, like and subscribe if you would. Thanks so much. I'm Shane R. Monroe. Thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you next time.